calling me out. So what else?
How many more should we do?
Just go.
Just go? Okay. Another, I guess, pet peeve or something that I just personally find a little uncomfortable is when people try to push you to talk to other people or to socialize or to be like, come meet these people. Maybe you might find something in common with them. So I am an introvert by heart. Not to say that I won't talk with people who I vibe with or whom I find have similar interests as me, because then I can be an extrovert all I want. But in terms of my comfort level, I do not want to force myself into a situation that I know won't do me any good at the end. So, like, when I go out at the grocery store or something, I tend to not look people in the eyes. I will look literally anywhere else. I guess it'll just be social awkwardness or something, but just unless I have to make eye contact with someone, but just for my personal level, I just want to kind of keep to myself until I feel drawn to say something to someone. So if I see someone, for example, I saw someone at work one day. She was wearing a Death Note shirt. And of course, I love Death Note. So I said, oh my gosh, I have to say something. I have to compliment her on it. And so I said, hey, I like your Death Note shirt. She said, oh, thank you. And then I went into, have you seen the Death Note musical? And then we started talking about that. Yeah. So it's instances like that where I feel comfortable enough that I will put myself forward and out there. But when I'm in a situation where I feel forced to, or if other people try to make the effort, but I'm just not feeling it, I don't want to put myself through that and waste their time and my energy to do that. If I have to be a wall hugger, I will be a wall hugger.
Okay. But what you're saying, it all boils down to what and how you feel.
Yes.
Okay. I'm an empath. Mm-hmm. I'm empathetic.
Ditto.
I'm compassionate.
Ditto.
I am open. I believe in the whole energy thing. I mean, people who say they don't believe in energy, but they'll tell you when they walk past someone, they felt the energy. You believe in energy. So it's energy out there that either drives you towards someone or repels you, right? To make you put your head down and walk another way. You feel that. And we're not meant to talk to every single person that we see. I mean, that's insane. No, I shouldn't use that word. But I mean, you just can't, right? But you're attracted to who you're attracted to, right? And like she said, I mean, I can talk to anyone at any point in time. And there are times where I have, start up a conversation with someone and I got a feeling, it's like, so I retreated, and it's okay, but I've never met a stranger. But in Jillian's way of dealing with people, she's more cautious, right? But because she still feels too, though, if somebody feels right to talk to. And to have someone trying to push you into that, and this will be in another topic too, when we talk about your babies. Moms with babies. I'll just say it here right now. Stop making your children go to Aunt Agatha and give her a kiss and a hug when that baby is screaming his or her head off. Children also feel energy.
More so.
Oh, more so. And they know what to stay away from and what makes them afraid. And I see it so much. We need to stop that. You know, if Aunt Agatha gets, you know, annoyed and, you know, take it personally, that's on her, because you're talking about a child. And if we want to teach children how to trust themselves, it starts there. They know and I'm not saying she's a bad person, but something about her energy the baby doesn't like. Teach them it's okay. You know, I'll draw you a picture when I'm older and mail it to you. But we need to stop that because that's forced as well. That's forced, just as someone, you know, trying to get you to mingle with someone at a party when you say, I have no desire. And that's what you should say. I have no desire. Thank you, but no, I'm good. I'm good.
If you just want to observe like me, I'm more of an observer. So I get my, what's the word called? When you're just looking at people and you pick up like...
Yeah, you're just, observing.
Observing, okay. Well, I was going to say like clues, or not like clues, but like... I don't know what the word is, but anyway, you understand what I'm saying. Hits, yeah. About who you can approach and who you're just like, maybe not. So if you're just more an observer and a listener and you just like to stay quiet and just look at other people around you or just listen, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts for a reason.
Well, that's how we should be anyway. Because when you listen to what you're thinking, when you feel, that's how we know what we like and dislike. Mm-hmm. So taking that time out to hug the wall or to go in a space by yourself is helpful to you, not harmful. You know, if somebody says, oh, you're not approachable. Well, maybe you're not to that person because they're not meant to approach. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's as simple as that. If you're meant to meet someone, you will at some point. If that meeting is supposed to happen, whether it happens at that moment, just because you choose not to approach them then, it'll come back around. But you shouldn't walk around, you know, worried about, oh, did I make a mistake in not talking to that person? Or, you know, yeah, a lot of those people you know automatically. So just trust it and don't listen to anyone else. If they can't respect you and your words and your wishes, step off. I mean, when you talk it through, right? Mm-hmm. You basically answer your own questions, right? When you say, I stand in the corner and I observe and I watch and I feel, you are taking that time in that moment to say, I'm willing to put my energy into this person and not this person. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, we can't be, you know, like every single person that come into our lives. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way because you're talking about your energy. Yeah. I mean, that would be drained. That would be drained, yeah. You know it. So, no, that's definitely a good point. And it's annoying. It's annoying for someone to sit there and tell you should go and talk to that person. I'll mingle and do this. It's like, if I wanted to, I would. Do you not trust me enough to do that? You know? Mm-hmm.
And then to feel judged or to have someone judge you and say, oh, why are you just standing there? And like you said, you look unapproachable. You look like you don't enjoy the situation. Well, A, you could have been forced into that situation and you didn't want to go in the first place. So of course I wouldn't enjoy it. Why would you ask me that? But B, yeah, if there's just no one there that vibes with you, then it's just like, so why can't I just enjoy this moment by myself? Just sip on my drink, just sit there and just enjoy the vibes and the music by myself. Why can't I do that?
Yeah. And again, I think people who are forceful like that, take control like that, it's all about them. It's not about you. It's about, oh, I'm uncomfortable because you're not doing anything and it makes me uncomfortable. So go talk to those people. And then you have to sit back and say, maybe you want to work on that.
There's been a lot of instances where I was shoved into a situation that, of course, I didn't want to be in. But one that comes to my mind was in Miami with my brothers, my dad, and my stepmother. Right off the bat, immediately, I just was not feeling it. I didn't want to be there. It had nothing to do with me. But then, of course, I couldn't be on my phone because then I would seem antisocial. I would seem rude. And the remainder of that night, I was just playing with a little girl because I was just like, you know what? I have more joy doing this than having to force myself to talk to other people whom I have nothing in common with.
But that just shows how in tune you are to your likes and dislikes. And you're not going to fake something to please someone else. There's no need. There's no need.
Yeah.
And a lot of adults need to learn this lesson as well, because it's not your fault. But like I said, we have been raised societal to do certain things, and it's only polite, Well, politeness can get you in trouble.
Yes.
Being too polite can get you in trouble, and that will be another story at another time. I'm a Cancer sign, and the one trait about us is, we're the mother sign, and we always want people to be happy, and, so we go above and beyond. But then there are times where you can forget yourself and not put yourself first, which we need to do as well, especially as mothers. So it's called balancing. We need to find a balance in everything that we do. Relationships should be reciprocal. You can't be the giver, and have the other person receiving all the time. It needs to go both ways. Because again, your energy will be sucked out. This person doesn't respect you. They're not there for you. So there's a lot of things, like I said, the reason we chose this topic is you will find it useful for so many situations in your life. And then teach your children. Teach your children early on. You don't need to be in this clique just because they're the cool people. Teach them to accept themselves for who they are and to surround themselves with people who enhance, who what's the word?
Bring out.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Feed into.
No, but who makes your life better, right? Both ways, right? And not want to be in a group just because they're popular, right? They know who they are, then they know who their people are, right? And they'll gravitate towards them, and those people will gravitate towards them. Yeah.
So let me ask you this then. Would it be considered rude if you were placed in a setting where you're just like, I'm not really feeling this, I don't really want to talk to anyone or whatever, to have something with you that brings you joy and comfort, like a book or something to do with you in that setting?
At this point, I would just leave or not go to begin with.
What if you don't have a choice but to?
You always have a choice. What age group are you talking here?
Okay. I'm talking more like
If you're younger
if you're younger.
and your parents are making you go to a certain event,
Yes.
whether it's a house party or something like this, I would say if, it's absolutely okay to bring a book. I would say stay away from the electronics because there's just too much electronics today. But and it should be advisable to the parents too. Hey, bring a book or two with you, or crossword puzzle book or something like that. Because we've all been in that position.
Yeah.
The parents have been in that position, when they were younger, possibly when they were older. But I think that would be a good habit to get into, to say, we're going to be going X, Y, and Z. Maybe you like to bring, a book, whatever else. But I would say keep the electronics to a minimum, though. I mean, we have too big of a problem with that already, even medically with the kids, with that. But definitely, I would say always. I mean, when you take a road trip, right? We always had so many different things for you guys, to do. So, and it's the same if you go to an event somewhere. But yeah, I mean, if you're older.
And you drive yourself. I think that's the main thing, is like if you don't have transportation.
Well, if you have the money or whatever, you can call yourself a Lyft or something like that. Or if you truly know from the beginning, I'm just not feeling it, then
True.
decline. And what I want to say with that too is never feel bad about doing what's right for you. And that is using the word no. Yeah, that wasn't. But yeah, like I said before, we've been raised not to hurt people's feelings and this, that, and the other. And example I like to use, say, someone invited you to a party. It could be a friend, a colleague, family member even, doesn't matter. They invite you to a party and you know in your heart of hearts, I don't want to go. I want to stay home. I want to watch TV. I want to read a book, or I just want to be. You know that in your heart. The majority of us in the past, we would have said, okay, yeah, and we would go. And then we're beating ourselves up because we didn't stand up for ourselves. So what I like to say now is, if you're invited somewhere you don't want to go, a simple, did you have any cocktails?
No.
A simple no thank you will suffice. You do not have to give a reason. You do not have to go any further. If the person, seems to be bent out of shape about it or upset or angry, just say, hey, look at it this way. It's less food you have to buy. But it's not necessary for you to give an excuse. If they're upset, then that's on them, because your intention was just to be true to yourself, not to hurt them. If they're hurt, then they need to look at that. So don't allow yourself to be, even bullied into doing something you don't want to. So that's what I have to say about that. Learn how to say no. And that's it. No, thank you works perfectly. Right?
You're here.
But yeah, always have a backup plan. I mean, if you're younger, yeah, just bring something that's going to entertain you. Maybe if you have some small games.
Yes.
Like what's the one? The charades?
Oh, charades, yeah.
Or something like that. If there are other kids there, you guys can get in a corner and play these games.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different things you can do. Bring some pencil and a paper. You can play hangman, all these different things. So you can still have fun at a place that you didn't think that you would have fun
Yes.
at. And if you're an adult and you decide to go, it's okay to leave early too. It is. You don't have to say I have a headache, because if you don't really have a headache, you will have one because you put it out there. Just saying. Yeah. Let's know. So people who hurt and mistreat others, I mean,
That's not typically under the bullying.
that would go under bullying, but another...
Or are you saying like people who take pleasure out of?
Well, I mean, whatever their reasons are their reasons. But one thing I do not like, when people purposefully mistreat a wait staff person at a restaurant or anywhere else that someone is serving you. I don't like that. That's a biggest turn off ever. It's like they're human beings. They're working for a living. Treat them with respect. And, if something happened with your food, you still do not have to be nasty and mean to them. That's what the manager is for. So, what was the other one? Yeah, mistreating, service workers, mistreating children, women, elderly people, animals. For me, I mean, it's a total red flag, just one of those. If I see someone doing that, it's a red flag. And then you ask yourself, why would I want to share space with someone like this? Right? This goes into your values, which we will be talking about later, but that's part of the dislike. And I refuse to associate with people like that. I don't care who you are, what your status is. If you do that, I do not want to be around that energy. So yeah, and you should not either. Some people would say, well, I can overlook that because they do this or they do that. No, it's no. Straight up no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people who are not trustworthy. People will show you who they are. After the second time, if you still decide to be with that person, then that's on you because they already showed you who they were.
Yeah. I know a pet peeve of mine, or another one, is when you have to repeat yourself to someone to do something and they still don't.
Get used to that one when you have children, darling.
I'm just saying that's a pet peeve, especially if you're in a workplace where you have to clean.
You're talking about adults.
Yes, I'm talking about adults.
Okay.
Kids, that's understandable.
Okay. Yeah. Because
I'm talking about adults.
You think they be out of that stage, right?
Yes.
But again, just like a child, it's because it's something they don't want to do. So they pretend, they didn't hear you or they forgot. And possibly because they were allowed to get away with that when they were younger their whole life.
Yeah.
So they take that into the adulthood. But
it just sucks for those.
It's annoying.
Yeah, it sucks for those who really value their work and put 110% of their effort into doing what they're supposed to do, and then you walk in the next day and then everything's like in disarray and you're like, did we not know how to clean properly as a child?
Yeah, that and what I would say to that, because some people say, well, you're judging that person because they're not as good as you. My point is, if you have a job and you're all expected to do the same thing because you're a team, there's no excuse. This is not me expecting you to be, we have a sheet that we follow. And it's not to say, oh, well, you go above and beyond. Well, there's not a lot of going above and beyond. You have a list, a checklist. So you do that and that's it. And that, for me, is someone who doesn't show that they respect you or anyone else on the team, let alone themselves. So that can be very annoying,
irking,
frustrating. But what would you do in a situation like that then? If this is a work situation, what would you do if that continued?
Go to the boss.
Would you speak with them first?
I would speak with the boss first.
You speak with the boss first or the coworker?
First I would speak with the coworker and just say, hey, just to let you know,
Okay.
this was missed the last time. Just wanted to bring it up to your attention. And then if they still repetitively don't do what you kind of asked for them to do, then you go to the boss and be like, hey, big boss, big bro.
Okay. Oh my goodness, you're extra.
They keep forgetting to do this. Can you tell them please to?
Okay. But I think what you said, the best thing to do is to speak with the person first.
Yeah.
Not in an accusatory way. It's just like, hey, I've noticed, this has been skipped. Maybe you want to check the list again before you leave for the day or whatever the case may be. After that, you have to take steps because it's not fair for you and the others to pull up the slack all the time or to deal with that when you do what's supposed to be done.
And that's more energy wasted too energy and time when you have to fix that
Right.
mistake that person made, and then that puts you back, but then also it makes you upset and it's
mistake or not doing it. But that's communication. This is where communication comes in and how you communicate. So, and intention. Intention for me plus communication is key. You have to know what your intention in any situation is before communicating, because it can go good or it can go bad. If you come at me with, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. If you come at that way, then that's not good. But if you can say, hey, I noticed that this wasn't done. Did you get busy? Did you forget?
Yeah.
There's a certain way of treating people, and it's the way you would want someone to approach you.
Yes.
I mean, bottom line, I will always go back to that. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And if they continue doing that way, you remain who you are. You don't allow people to change who you are to get to their level. Because eventually what I found is people who continually, want to argue or, be a certain way, it takes two. And when you keep your peace about you and you keep yourself in check and, you're talking in a calm voice, but being firm, they will have no choice but to either leave the situation or come down to what you're doing, communication is another big key. Can't wait to get to that topic. So what else?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, well, this will be the end of this particular segment. And our next segment will be on likes. And again, all of this is to help you know yourself, love yourself, teach you what to expect from others, who you choose to have in your life, based on your likes, dislikes, and your values. So until then, like, share,
and subscribe.
Thank you. Bye.